and then the next night on Raw, he's holding up a piece of it in a blood bag, and he's just yelling out to the crowd. He's just yelling, "Do you know what this is? Last night, after the Dudley Boys put me through a table, the WWE medical team had to remove this piece of wood from my buttocks."
Oh yeah, well, I mean, a lot of the wrestlers like Mick Foley. I mean, that's a wrestler who totally had a career where it was just nonstop, all kinds of hardcore matches.
Yeah, Xavier Woods. He's a tough little son of a gun, they like to say.
Yeah, what do you think's gonna happen with Dean Ambrose and Brock?
I don't know. I have pretty high hopes for Dean Ambrose, but obviously Brock Lesnar's a lot bigger, but Dean Ambrose is more courageous. And I remember that one time after he saved Roman Reigns, and then later eventually in the parking lot when Brock Lesnar came out of nowhere and smashed him against a car, and he got taken to the hospital. But the craziest thing was that later that day he drives the ambulance back into the arena and chases after him.
Did you see how all of a sudden? No, I think it was this Raw. Dean he shows up around the ring around Brock, and it looks like he's shopping, and he's just getting a bunch of items he's gonna use at WrestleMania.
That was crazy.
Yeah. So tell me about JACC.
Well, JACC it was only my first time, and it's probably going to be the only time I'm going because since I'm not planning on returning to Talon Marks next semester or the semester after that. It was a lot of fun because I got to learn a lot of more fundamentals in depth in journalism, and I also got to make a lot of new friends from other colleges. So, and of course I also got to see the one of my former professors from the college I attended up north, and he also used to work, and he knows Professor Cameron very well because he used to work here at Cerritos. So it was good to see him again, and I also made a lot of new friends from a bunch of other colleges. So it's just a lot of fun, and I even networked with them on Facebook. So that's what we basically want to do. We want to network with people, and that's JCC is a great place to do that.
Yeah, I got to go to last semester's. It was pretty good. Tell me about the workshops that were available in this one.
Obviously there was one that was like how to succeed at JACC, where we had this little passport thing, and we had to fill it out completely because we had to pay a $250 deposit for any stamp that we didn't get. We had to forfeit some of that deposit. So, but mine was fully completed, and we could do it with either a workshop, a contest, or even a vendor, and of course the awards banquets as well. So we got those all stamped, and I think you know the reason why they had us do these passports, right?
Well, it's just show participation.
Yeah, that and Professor Cameron also told us this, that when that last spring when JACC was up in Sacramento, the hotel that it was at was right across the street from a mall, and there were several students that decided to spend the entire weekend at the mall rather than attending the conference. So
yeah, some people from obviously not from our school, but from other school probably.
Yeah, well, I think Professor Cameron said there was some from here as well, but anyways, it was a problem, so they decided to do that and also have us pay the refundable deposit.
But it's pretty cool, the JACC, because right there, you learn a lot about the journalism industry as well and broadcasting, and it just gives us a chance to go ahead and get tips from the professionals that are already doing what we want to do later.
Mm-hmm.
So what better way than to go ahead and get advice from people who have already, had the experience and stuff, and just get better. And just like in the journalism class, every time a newspaper comes out, we really go through the entire thing, what could have been done better and all that. Tell me about the critiques.
Yeah, the critiques were, they were pretty good, although I didn't have anything much to critique. Well, I didn't have anything to be critiqued, but they had like a lot of critiques for print editions of certain schools, and also for for some stories that we wrote, and well, they had. I was going to have some multimedia I created to be critiqued as well, but they didn't have multimedia critiques, so I couldn't do that, unfortunately. But I wish I could, because if you saw my car review video, I obviously know it needed some improvement, as did a baseball highlight reel I recently did as well. But you know, it's only my first. I have very limited experience with multimedia, so it can always use some improvement. And obviously they say the more I do it, the better I get at it. That's basically true for everything.
Cool. We'll be right back after this break.
What do the Dave Clark Five, Frankie Lane, and Sammy Hagar, the Jarmells, Kelly Clarkson, and Buck Owens have in common? You'll hear music from all of them in the WPNB Oldies Jukebox. From the biggest names in music to one-hit wonders, from hard rock to easy listening, from R&B to C&W, from the early 50s to almost today. It's a musical mosaic that you won't find anywhere on your radio, your satellite receiver, or anywhere else on the net. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of titles in our jukebox, all of them there because of our one and only rule. If you heard it on the radio, you'll hear it on the WPNB Oldies Jukebox. Weekends on WPNB on the net, where people make a difference.
Saving money today is like giving a gift to your future self. A little money from each paycheck can go a long way. You'll need those savings to set aside to do cool stuff in the future. Yeah, it's hard, but you know, it's the right thing to do. Take control of your finances and make saving a part of your daily life.
As I went through school, one giant question loomed over me. What did I want to be? But in order to know what I wanted to be, I had to first decide what I wanted to make. I wanted to make more. So I became a teacher. Now I make learning a privilege, not a chore. And frustration, a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy, and giving up, impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought, and unconventional methods common. I make material things less important, and little things like patience and kindness count. I make weekdays more exciting than weekends, and classrooms feel like anything but. I make things different, which is all I ever hoped for. I'm a teacher. I make more.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
And welcome back to the Falcon Spotlight. I'm your host, Rob Flores, and remember that you can email me at robert06flores@gmail.com. You can also look for my fan page, Cerritos College Falcon Spotlight on Facebook. Now, Taylor, for those who wanted to get in contact with you, tell me about your social media. Promote your, how they can reach you.
Well, they can also reach me on Twitter at Ogata. Ogata spelled capital O, capital T, capital O, Gata 87 on Twitter, and then on Instagram at It's a Small Hockey World After All, and also on Snapchat, add me Frozen Dude 714. So, and of course you can also find me on Facebook, as well as my middle name Sean, spelled SEAN, is included. So. And I'm basically on social media all the time, so go ahead and follow me. And I've also got a lot of Facebook pages. Well, I've got 2 that I've created myself, and I need to get more likes on them. So anyways, go out, follow me, add me on Facebook as a friend, like my Facebook pages, and do all that. I'm basically very tech savvy, so you may as well get involved with me.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have right here an announcement as well. Get on the court and get more in your game. Go Ballin' with the Dean, hosted by Dr. Gilbert Contreras, the Dean of Student Services here at Cerritos College. It happens here at the gym at noon at 5 on Fridays every other week, with more dates to be announced after Cerritos College basketball season ends. It's free and open to all currently enrolled Cerritos College students. All you have to do is bring your student ID. Get in shape and get your game in shape at the same time by Ballin' with the Dean, Fridays at Cerritos College Gym. The The semester's gone by so fast. I can't believe finals almost gonna be here.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, like they always say, time flies, and you know, you might think just when you think we're still just getting started, it could get done in a flash.
So you sure you're not you don't want to return to the paper next time?
No, I just want to stay focused on fulfilling the requirements for both my major and general ed, just so I can get out of here quicker.
Mm-hmm.
And considering if journalism was my major, then yeah, I'd spend I'd spend 4 semesters on it. But since I want to become a broadcaster, 2 is all I need.
Cool. So you already you mentioned you did a video. So right now, is that what you're focused on? Is the multimedia aspect now?
That and photography. Obviously, I wrote a lot and took a lot of pictures last semester, and now I've decided to get myself involved a little bit with multimedia. Just even though we only need to do it in 2 areas for second semester students, I decided to try 3 because I just like to push the limits on myself a lot, and obviously multimedia is a good little piece of training for me since I used to do videos all the time, and I decided to see how I could do it for a newspaper.
So I always ask my guests this question. What was your goal for the semester, and where do you see yourself after Cerritos College?
Well, my goal for the semester is to just get good grades in all my classes, keep my GPA high above. Keep it very decent. It has to be obviously at least 2.0 in order for us to avoid probation after we take 12 units. And obviously, in case you didn't know, I wound up getting dismissed from my last college up north because I had a really low GPA. It was just barely below 2.0, and after 12 units, I wound up getting 2 semesters of probation, and unfortunately, when I finally brought up my GPA, it was just barely below a 2.0. It was like a 1.9 something, and as a result, I got dismissed. But anyways, I learned the lesson, so now I'm just trying to and last semester my grades were great. My cumulative GPA is well above 2.0. It's like a 3.67, and my grades have been, they've been sky high ever since, so I'm basically trying to maintain that and avoid the dismissal bullet here, so I can try and transfer and fulfill all the requirements needed to become a broadcaster. And obviously I'm on the right track, so I'm like halfway there or something like that, but I've still got a long way to go.
Do you see yourself being the next GR?
Yeah, I guess.
Or Michael Cole? Or the coach?
Yeah.
Who was your favorite? Which one?
I don't really know any of them, but
The Taz?
yeah, I don't really know any of them. I'm trying.
Those are the WWE ones.
Probably more like whoever the ring announcer is, Aiden Styles. Probably more like her, but but when it comes to other sports, I want to become a hockey broadcaster. Probably like the guy that's most known in the NHL broadcasting today is Mike Emmerich, also known as Doc, and he's in the Hall of Fame right now. But even though he's still working, he's like hockey's Vin Scully, who for that matter is in his final season as broadcast voice of the Dodgers. So he's going to be retiring at the end of this coming season. So all you Dodger fans out there, got to be prepared for a new era of broadcasting at the end of this season.
Nice. Now you get to for those that haven't followed hockey, how does the season work? Is it during particular months?
Yeah, the preseason starts in late September, and then the regular season runs October through April, and of course they have an all-star game in late January, and then it goes all the way through April, and then in early April the playoffs start, and then there's the top 8 teams in both conferences qualify. There's obviously the 3 division leaders for both division. There are 2 divisions in both the Eastern and Western conferences, and the top 3 teams in all 4 divisions automatically qualify. And then there's the 2 so-called wild card teams for both conferences. They also that will qualify. And then for the playoffs, when they start in April, it depends on how they're seeded. They play each other, and then then come the semifinals. It runs April into May, and then there's the championship. They play for the championship trophy, known as the Stanley Cup. Those finals end in early June, and that's when a championship is awarded, and then there's a long off season. But during that off season, there's a draft in like early June or something, and then on July 1st, that's when players that are in the final, that had final years of their contracts, when their contracts expire, that's when they become free agents, and that's when teams tend to sign free agents, either the same team he played for or a different team. So it depends on, obviously, you know how the business of sports works. It's just basically almost every day, and of course, for the restricted free agents, it's basically the same how the free agent process works in baseball and football. You get the so-called qualifying offer from a new team, and then the team that you previously played for, they have a right to match it or beat it, and then they can keep bidding, and eventually they can keep matching and raising it, and the player can finally decide who he wants to play for, and then he signed.
Now, you also mentioned you follow MMA, right?
Not really. I do. I watch it every once in a while, but I don't really follow it that much.
Like, remember how, let's see, I believe the announcer actually is related to the other announcer that's for boxing, Buffer.
Yeah.
His name is Michael Buffer and Bruce Buffer.
Yeah, I don't really know them that well, but I was, it's just, I don't know what to say. It's a small world.
Yeah. Since, your passion is for broadcasting and stuff, who are your inspirations? Who do you admire that you try to, you want to, kind of mimic, or, you take inspiration from?
Yeah, as a broadcaster, I like to take inspiration from guys like Doc Emmerich, like since he's in hockey, but also Vin Scully, and then of course the baseball broadcaster who's also in the Baseball Hall of Fame, John Miller, who works for the rival San Francisco Giants, and then of course there's also a younger guy who also works for the Giants. His name's Dave Fleming, and I like to look at him as well. And then a lot of other hockey broadcasters I tend to listen to a lot, and I want to be just like, hopefully one day I'll be just like them.
Cool. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time to be here at the Falcon Spotlight.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, you can tune in to the replay on Sunday at 12. And video will be available on the YouTube channel. Just look up Cerritos College Falcon Spotlight. Until next time, folks.